Now, what's interesting, this data from Zuckerberg said 87% of business was done through networking. It's pretty good to see it in live time, good sample size. According to LinkedIn, a study was done in 2020, 80% of jobs in the Australian job market are not even advertised. That means you're 4 times more likely to get a job through networking than you are through applying through a job online. Now, we can show you those studies and give you the data and even get you in a room. I think it's pretty cool to say, like, you got that job, this room, you've seen it before. But if you're applying for jobs, what you want to take, if you take nothing else out of this session today, is you should spend 4 times as much time networking as applying for jobs. 4 times as much time investing in people and relationships and networks, people you know, and new people, than just blankly applying for jobs. So if you get nothing else out of today, just take that. I'm 4 times more likely to get the job I want after uni through my networks. Now, some of you might be thinking, yeah, okay, that works for like a casual or a part-time job, but what about the job we're going to get when we graduate? Some research out of Stanford University indicated, welcome, come on and sit, that you're more likely to get that job 2 to 1 through someone who's what they call a weak tie connection. So rather than your best friend or your boyfriend or your brother being the person who introduces you, it might be someone you meet at a session like today. It might be someone who's a professional staff member at a university who introduces you. It might be someone who's a presenter who you catch up with after a session, or a panelist. It might be someone who's an alumni. I'm going to give you 4 different P's of people to connect with: peers, past students, professionals, and presenters later on in the session. But I'm going to show you how you can tap into huge arrays of different people to find those job opportunities. But we're going to come to that a little bit later. Before we get there, I want to break one myth, and it's what I call the myth of confidence. I think with networking, you don't need to be taught anything new. I think we just need to be reminded. If you went to a birthday party when you were a kid, a 5 or 6-year-old's birthday party, your parents in the car went like, here are the 6 steps to networking when you get that party. You like walked in and you walked up to someone else and you're like, hi, I'm Josh. Hi, I'm Matt. I like your watch. I like your t-shirt. And then like you become friends, right? No one had to teach us how to do that necessarily. As little kids, we figure it out. Because when you're little, you get someone to do something when they're not confident, so they get confident. Action leads to confidence. And somewhere between being 2 years old and 18 years old and we get into university, we get this myth in our head that we won't do something until we're confident. Like, when I'm confident networking, I'll start networking. When I start getting paid a lot of money, I'll start saving money. When I get into a relationship, I'm going to start investing time in meeting new people. When I am fit and healthy, I'll start going to the gym. And it's a paradox. It doesn't work like that. You take the action and then you get the result. Does that make sense? The little kid's good at tying up their shoelaces eventually because they do it when they're not confident. Is the right time to network now or a week before graduation when you realize you don't know anyone and you're about to be unemployed? What do you think? Now, right? Now's the time to start. Can someone hire you if they don't know you exist? No. Sometimes at university, we spend somewhere between $30,000 and $100,000 getting really, really qualified. We become a very valuable product. But in business, Peter Drucker said every business has 2 legs: innovation, making good stuff, products and services, and marketing, right? Innovation and marketing. Someone cannot hire you if they do not know you exist. You cannot come to this event if you don't know it exists. And often we'll spend a lot of time at university becoming really qualified. Think of all the number of hours you've put into study and exams. But no one can hire someone who's really, really qualified if they don't know you exist. So after today, I'd really encourage you, think of networking as like a 5th subject. If you've got 4 subjects in the week, think of networking as number 5. Think of every single week, if you're going to go to class and study and do assignments, who are the new people I've met? Or who are the people I already know that I should touch base with? Or who are the people they know that I could get introduced to? I'll show you how to do all this later. But think of it like a subject. Think of it like something that you do. You can't add to a company or an organization or a charity. You can't make the world a better place if someone doesn't know you exist and doesn't give you a chance. Yeah? But likewise, you can have a product that's super well advertised. Has anyone ever seen the Farr documentary on Netflix? The music festival that never happened? Look it up, F-Y-R-E. They advertised the heck out of this big music festival, and then people went and it was a horrible disaster, right? It was a scam. So you can market something that's terrible, and then lots of people will find out that that's not true, that's not good. Or you can do something great and no one find out, and that's not good. Or you can find a middle ground. And the middle ground with networking is you're at a great uni getting a great degree, and that's great. Like, you are very, very qualified. The problem is, if someone doesn't know you exist, they can't hire you. They can't give you an opportunity. And if you don't know they exist, you can't do business with them. As old Zuck said, 87% of business comes through networking. If you don't know somebody's out there, if they don't know you're out there, you can't connect. Have you ever heard the expression that your network is your net worth? Or you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time around? The reason those expressions exist is that we have to invest in putting ourselves out there. And in Australia, we don't love that. In Australia, we have something called tall poppy syndrome. So a poppy is a flower, and the idea is the tallest flower in the field is the first one to get cut down. So the idea is like, someone's like, ah! It's okay. If you stand out, you'll be cut down. Like Australia and New Zealand, in a good way, it's like humility. It's like we don't want to brag about ourselves. Like if I got up here today and was like, here's my bank account balance and here's all the awards we've won and we do this many $1 million a year in business, you'd be like, oh, this guy's arrogant, right? If I got in America and I got up and did that, they'd be like, put this guy on a magazine, right? Like, they love it. They love it. But it's a different culture. You know, it's just oriented slightly differently. So for us, the humility side of it's really good. The downside is no one can hire you if they don't know you exist. So it's not to be braggy. It's not to gloat. I'm going to put to you today that the key to networking is to not be interesting, but be interested. We mentioned the elevator pitch before. Someone asked me once on a podcast, like, what's your elevator pitch, Josh? Or if you were in an elevator, like, how would you describe yourself? And I was like, if I was in an elevator with someone for 60 seconds, I would say nothing about myself and I'd ask them about them. Because you tell me, who do people like to talk about? Themselves. Now, if you ask someone about themselves for long enough, eventually they're going to feel bad and they're going to ask you about who. Right, so at that point you should go to Swin Employee and do the elevator pitch, and you should have that in your back pocket. But you don't write an elevator pitch so you can go around telling everyone about who you are. That's not the point. If you're in an elevator with someone, if you're at a networking event, the key to networking is learning how to ask good questions. The key to networking is being interested in them. Be interested. Don't focus on being interesting. You already are interesting. You're fascinating. Like, where did you grow up? What's your favorite flavor of ice cream? What did you watch on Netflix? What are you thinking about right now? What's some controversial belief you have? There's a million things about you that are unique and interesting and contradictory if we really dig into it. But we don't have to worry about being interesting if we're interested. There's one more thing I'm looking for with networking that I haven't heard yet, and I think it's the key. Information, right? The process of interacting with others to exchange information and develop relationships. So to network, you need 3 things. You need a human, there needs to be an information exchange, and there needs to be a relationship formed, right? So if there's no human, if it's just you and a mirror, is it networking? No. If there's you and another person, but you're just standing next to each other in a line and you don't exchange any information, is that networking? No. What if it's you and a human, like you get an email from someone and they exchange information, but there's no relationship formed? Is that networking? Like you don't get an email from the university and think that's a networking activity, even though it's hopefully probably a human and some information. The third thing's key is that there has to be some sort of develop a personal or professional relationship. So if you want a definition in your notes, networking equals people plus information plus relationships. The key to networking is you've learnt something about somebody else. If you interact with a human and learn something about them and you feel closer to them or know something about them or they feel positive about you, is it possible to network without saying anything about yourself? Yeah. You can network without saying anything about yourself. You can learn about them. Have you ever had that situation where a friend calls you up and you chat for 30 minutes and they basically talk at you for 30 minutes the whole time and you don't say anything about yourself, and then at the end they go, oh wow, that was such a great chat. And you're like, because for them, their experience of it was fantastic, even if you didn't say anything. So you can be closer to someone just by listening. So if we want to make that relationship stronger with another human, we want to get information from them. And not like get so we can use them to get something for us, but like we want to be interested. People are fascinating. I think you can learn something from everybody. Absolutely everybody, if you learn how to ask good questions. So something quick for your notes. If you ask a better question, you'll get a better answer. But after today, I'm going to show you some really simple techniques. We're going to practice them right now that you can use when you interact with someone to form relationships really, really quickly. And the world starts to become a really weird place when you start doing this because no one does it. It'll shock you how many times you'll get an extra scoop of ice cream at an ice cream store, or an upgrade on your coffee, or a free little bonus at a restaurant, or extra little bit and pieces in society if you just show a little bit of interest in the person serving you. So if we can start doing this with the barista, with the bus driver, with the Uber driver. Uber drivers are fascinating. You ever had a fascinating conversation with an Uber driver before? They're stuck with you for 20 minutes, right? Like, you ask good questions, you never know where it's going to go. So if you can get in the habit of doing that with classmates, with people at events, with baristas, with Uber drivers, then when you sit in that job interview or you go out for that coffee with somebody, you've got a whole bunch of practice. You're practice being interested in other people. And then when it really matters, you can be interested in someone who might also be interested in you. But I'm going to show you the first and simplest key to networking. When you walk into a room, when you have a coffee with someone, when you're starting a conversation, the H for high confidence in networking is saying hello. Has anyone ever walked into a room with, for our definition of networking, other people, because people are the key, right? You can't exchange information or build a relationship unless you've got people. Has anyone walked into a room, either today or in the last week, where you walked in, other humans are in the space, and instead of saying hello, you sat down in a chair by yourself? Yeah. Has anyone done that? So the first software upgrade, the 0 to 1 effect here, and I'm massive on 0 to 1s, like it's low-hanging fruit. From not doing something to doing something, absolutely massive, right? The 0 to 1 upgrade, the first step of high confidence in networking, is getting in the habit of saying hello. And not in like a creepy way, like you don't stand at the bus stop and go, hello, 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 hello. But like make it a default that you're the person who says hello. Someone has to say hello first. So I'm just going to nudge you today, just like if you're on Google Maps and you take a wrong turn, Google Maps doesn't scream at you and be like, you're a horrible failure. Google Maps is like, no worries, you should maybe get back on the highway, right? Today, this is a little get back on the highway of if you go into a space, be the person who says hello. Be the person who goes first. Because in any relationship, someone has to go first. And if you walk into a room and everyone's sitting there like this, and you're just the next person who sits there like this, then it means the next person who walks in the door is more likely to sit there like this, right? And sometimes I think the biggest challenge we have in life is when we should do what the majority does, or when we should definitely not do what the majority does. And the majority of students don't spend the majority of their time looking for jobs investing in networking. The majority of students are not here today. You're the outliers. You're the ones who stand out. You're the ones who are like, we get it, networking matters. So be the one who says hello first. Now, there's 3 keys to saying hello and you unlock them. I want you to describe to me when the other person said hello to you, this was one of the things they did. The W in the 3 ways you can communicate is your word choice. And everybody said to the other person, hello, right? Which is great. But there are different ways to say hello, right? According to the Journal of Counselling Psychology, abstract reference, but go with me. Journal of Counselling Psychology, 55% of communication, easy way to remember it, comes down to body language. 55%. So if you go up to someone and you're like, hello, you're like, Jesus, this is going to be a rough conversation. If you're stuck with that guy on a bus for 12 hours, you're in trouble, right? If someone comes up to you and they go, hi. You're like, oh, this person's friendly, right? We know that. Now, has anyone ever come up to you and faked it? You ever met someone and they go, it's nice to meet you, and you're like, danger, 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 right? You can tell. So body language is a big part of it, how we use that expression. But there's another part besides body language and word choice. What do you think it is? Voice, or how you use your tone of voice, right? So when someone said hello to you, how would you describe their voice? It's nice, positive, friendly. Now notice this, none of these have anything to do with the actual voice. This is our interpretation of how we use a voice. Right? It's very hard. There's no nice meter out there, or positive meter out there, or friendly meter out there. If you were to register this through a microphone right now, how would you describe the actual sound of that voice? Technically. Yeah, is it typically loud or soft? Okay, it might be loud. Now, sometimes it's loud or soft. Yeah, okay, cool. Is it fast or slow? Now notice some people said slow or fast. So there's lots of ways to do it. It's not like there's a way to say hello to somebody, right? If you're going to an event that's very formal, you might say hello differently than if you're at a barbecue and people are handing out sausages, right? So there's the situation and the context you're in, but the ability to say hello in a way that gives across that I'm interested in a relationship, I'm here to learn something about you, I'm open, I'm receptive. So if you get in that habit of when you meet someone, hi, it's nice to meet you. The smile, the nodding the head, the things that work, if we get in the habit of saying hello and hello intelligently, we're going to do it even better, even more of the time. All right, that's just step number 1. The 2 big myths of networking are if I do it or don't do it, something amazing is going to happen or something horrific is going to happen. And it's not that. It's just in the middle. It's just that you say hello to someone. It's an opportunity. It's an opening of the door. It's a key to the next step, which we're about to go into. All right, step number 2, C in high confidence networking. C is going to stand for give them a compliment. So the rule with this is imagine you are being secretly recorded and that recording, I'm serious about this, imagine you're being secretly recorded and that recording got played on the news. Like, if I sat in front of someone and said, "Hi, I like your shoes," it was like, presenter compliments audience member on shoes. I'd be like, I'm cool with that, right? Now, you can imagine something that someone could say to someone else that they would not want displayed on the news. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. Now, all you've got is a person sitting in front of you, right? So it's glasses, it's hair, it's earrings, it's watch, it's nails, it's shoelaces. It's something that you see there. Does that kind of make sense? So hello, then they say what back? Hello, and then you give them a compliment. And then what do you think would be really nice if they said next? They give you a compliment. Now, if you give them a compliment, they might tell you a little bit about it, but don't like quiz them. Like, where did you get those shoes from? How much were those shoes? Like, you can ruin it a little bit. Just a compliment, maybe one follow-up question, and then sit there and nod, and they'll go, "Oh yeah, I need to give you a compliment." And then they'll go, "I like your jacket." You'll be like, "Thank you." Now, make it easy for them, right? We'll get to this in a sec. But if they say, "I like your jacket," you're like, "Oh yeah, I got it from here or from there," and try to get the conversation flowing. 3, the O. I love this one. This was something that I only got down when I codified it and then realized I've been doing it for years and was like the secret weapon. So hopefully this will really help. O is you want to ask someone for their opinion on something. When you say hi, it starts the conversation. When you give them a compliment, it makes them focus on who? Themselves or you? Themselves. And people like to talk about who? Themselves. So you've gone from no conversation to conversation with hello. Then you've given them a compliment, so now they're thinking about themselves, right? Which is where you want somebody. The third step, their opinion, is then when you want to get on the same side of the table with them and you and them are going to look at the outside world. Now, the tricky one with this is sometimes you can go, "Hey, what do you think about the geopolitical situation in Uganda right now?" And they're like, so you want to be careful. You don't go, "Hi, I like your jacket." "Oh, I like your shirt." "Cool. What do you think about geopolitics in Uganda?" And they're like, "What the?" So yes, if they're reading an AI book or something like this is what happens in movies. Like, there'll be like the pretty boy sitting on the bench and he's reading his book of whatever he's reading, and then the other pretty boy comes up and he's sitting on the bench like, "I love that book. What do you think about the main character?" It's like, he's a delight. And you're like, "Oh my gosh, we're in love." And then they get married 4 acts later because it's like, but real life, people don't always give you those really obvious ins or clues. So yes, you could go really specific. Now, when would this be appropriate? If this room wasn't just a general networking event, I'll guide you to water here, what do you think about AI would be a completely appropriate question? Yeah, if you're at an AI or a tech conference, you go up to someone, "Hey, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I like your sneakers. Oh, cool, man, thanks. I saw Zuck was wearing them. Awesome, that's cool. So what do you think about AI? Now, it's pretty broad, right? If it's a specific event, and by the way, this is why you go to more events. Easiest win after today, just go to 10 times more events. And I mean it quite literally. Like, if you're my best friend in the world, "Josh, I want to meet people, increase my career opportunities," 10 times more events. Go to events that are related to your interests or things that you're interested in. And then because this third question's so much easier. So you want to be listening for clues. You want to be able to keep that conversation going. You want to be genuinely interested in someone. You want to listen like you actually care. Because if you're listening just waiting for your turn to talk, who's ever been in a conversation before where the person you're talking to, they're like, you can see they're ready to say something, and you're just like, "I'll just stop mid-sentence, go ahead." And they'll go, blah, 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 right? If you're distracted or you're listening waiting to talk, you're not interested. And if networking is people plus information and relationships, you can have people and information, but the relationship won't form if the other person's not interested or they just want to share their bit. Does that kind of make sense? So when we're doing this, ask and build, ask and build, ask and build, you need to be interested in them so you can hear the clues so you've got something to build off. Because have you ever had a conversation with a friend and then you get distracted and you check your phone and they finish talking and you look up and you're like, "Sorry, can you say that again? I completely missed it." Have you ever had that experience? Yeah. And the problem with that is you don't have a clue to build off. You don't know what next question to ask because you weren't listening in the first place. It's not a criticism, it happens to all of us. But if you're aware of it, you go, if I'm going to ask the question, I'm going to listen to the answer. If I'm going to register for the event, I'm going to go or cancel my ticket. It's like, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to just do it. And it reduces so much stress and anxiety around the conversation. Yeah, so often once you get to the point where it's, "Oh, I like this," or "Thanks, it's great to meet you." When you give someone a compliment, especially if you mean it, then it's much easier for that conversation to go. I said before, if you ask a better question, you'll get a better answer, right? And then the opinion, by the way, you can compliment something else. You don't have to compliment them. "Hey, I really liked what the speaker said about blah, 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 compliment about someone else, not them. What did you think about that? So to answer your question of like, how do you not make that line? Compliment something else. Oh, how great were the snacks at the break? Did you have a Cadbury? Yeah, I had a Cadbury. Now if they go, I hate Cadbury, you're like, okay. Well, what do you hate about it? Like, be interested. Just be interested. I hate Cadbury. Why do you hate Cadbury? I hate all chocolate. Almost like childlike curiosity. I tilt the head. I'm like, I've never met someone who hates all chocolate before. I hate everything delicious. Well, that's fascinating, right? And not to be condescending, and always state the facts, tell the truth. Like, you don't lie. The point's not to lie, but be interested. So you compliment them or something in the surrounds. By the way, the thing with complimenting is you anchor in your mind to them that you're a positive person. Do employers, you think, want to hire positive or negative people? Positive people, right? So if you go up to someone, you say hello, you're open, you have a little bit of initiative, big employability skill, and you compliment something or something about them, you're like, oh, this is a person with initiative who's positive. Now, there's a study done by Seek a couple of years ago that said an employer is twice as likely to hire somebody if they have a, quote, positive attitude than if they have, quote, relative job experience. Your attitude is twice as important as your experience. Hi, my name is, oh, they're open, they're friendly, they've got initiative, and they're positive. It's like, those are two very good steps. Now, if you layer that on with a bit of interest in them, oh, wow, this person has empathy, they have emotional intelligence, they have awareness, you're creating an employability stack in 3 sentences. Here's the 4th step. Once you're on the same side of the table, ask, build clues, ask, build clues. Number 4 is, who's terrible with names? Who's in that category where they struggle with names? All right, me too. I'm terrible with this. So, here's my technique. What do you think N stands for? Name, right? Ask their name. Now, I like to do this by taking a little bit of ownership of being like, so sorry, I forgot to ask, what's your name? Because if you just go, ask, build, and you're like, what is your name? It can feel weird. But I like to say, like, this is an important part. So mine is always, now, some people have an objection to apologizing for someone they don't feel like they need to apologize for. This is just my style. You make it your own. I always say, oh, sorry, I totally forgot. This is just how I think about it in my head. What was your name again? Now, if they've never said their name in the first place, you can just say, hey, sorry to interrupt the conversation. What's your name? Now, the key with it is, who's ever had someone introduce and say their name, and while they're saying their name, you're focused on like the handshake and thinking about your name, like it's Josh, it's Josh, it's Josh. And then by the time you said your name back to them, you've completely forgotten their name. Who's ever had that situation? So my rule with this is, repeat the name twice before you say your name. Repeat the name twice. Now, I'm not going to script it here, and you don't have to say, why did your parents name you that? But Lockie. Okay, Lockie, that's interesting. I know a Lockie. Let's try it again. Who's somebody else who I haven't met before? Awesome. What was your name? Millie. Millie. Yeah. Millie. I actually have a friend named Millie. Her partner Christian and her, I met them in Vegas last month. They came and stayed with us. She's super, super friendly. It's so cool. Nice to meet you, Millie.
Thank you.
Like, it's not a trick. You're just trying to drive the groove deep, right? Repeat it back. Make it your own. Oh, I know someone. But people are so wired to their own name that it stands out. It's something known as the cocktail party effect. Like, you can be out in a networking event and people are chatting, you can barely hear it. But if someone says Lachlan or Millie or Josh, we're going to respond because we've been wired that way. Our parents or caregivers did it for us since we were a kid. So why do I tell you this? Do you think people like or don't like hearing their own name? They like it. So this is where we get a little trickery. At a subconscious level, if you hear someone's name, you recognize their name, and you say it back to them, it's going to build a positive affiliation with you. Now, it's not to trick somebody, right? But it's so you remember the name, because it's really important. By the way, another way to do this is, if you meet somebody, introduce them to somebody else. So you don't have to do it in any particular way, but at some point, ask for someone's name. Now, notice, was the name the first thing I encouraged you to ask for? No, because that's what everyone does. And even worse, most people go, hi, my name's Josh. It's like, this person has no interest in who you are or what your name is. They've never met you before. Right? You go, hi. And they go, hi. Like, I like your jacket. Oh, thanks. I got it. Kathmandu? Yeah, I got it from the, I've got a Kathmandu. Oh, da. What do you think about the event so far? You're talking to them on an emotional level. You're not talking to them on like, hi, my name is this, your name is this, okay, great, can I add you on LinkedIn? No, this is weird, let's go. Like, it's just weird. It's like you're a robot. And you stand out, yeah? But at some point you want to get their name. You don't need to know someone's name right at the start to build the relationship. But at some point you want to, and you need that for the last step. The fifth step here in this process, the F in this process, stands for the follow-up. Another way to think of this is the future. So there's two ways to do this. If the conversation is ongoing, say if you're at the start of the event, there's more to come. If there's, I love like if there's a snack bar, if there's like snacks outside, if there's a bar, if there's an event to go to, if there's an activity happening over here, the future orientation might be, hey, do you want to check out this? It's like an invitation to spend more time with you. Hey, do you want to go grab a snack? Do you want to go grab a sandwich? Do you want to go grab a drink at the bar? Now, when you ask someone if you're in an event and there's in a bar, is there an appropriate and an inappropriate way to ask someone if they want to grab a drink at the bar? Yeah. Here's the appropriate way to do it. You own it. I'm going to go to the bar and grab a drink. Can I get you one? Or I was thinking about going and grabbing a sandwich. Would you like to come? So then if they go, oh, no, thank you, or I don't feel comfortable, whatever it happens to be, you're like, no worries, I'll see you a little bit later. And you go off and you do your thing. You know their name, you see them later. Hey, Lachlan, how you going? How'd the rest of the event go? Hey, Millie, how was that session you went to? And you can build a relationship. Yeah? But I'm doing this, would you like to come? It's an invitation to come with. Be conscious of if it's late at night, you're going by yourself, you're asking someone who's by themselves. Are we reading between the lines there? Yeah, keep it appropriate. Again, presenter comes to event, takes single female girl to bar for 4 hours. Like, if you wouldn't be okay with it being on the front page of the paper, just don't do it, right? It's a pretty easy metric. Yeah, so the follow-up is, within that event, do you want to go and do something within the event? Or if you're not going to see them again, like you're leaving the event, is there a way we can stay in contact? So I like to, in sales, it's called assume the sale. So I like to say, what would be the best way for us to stay in contact in the future? I'll just write this down, by the way, because there's two softer ways to do it. There's what would be, this assumes they're going to say yes, what would be the best way for us to stay in contact? Now, if you've had a really good vibe, you're like, oh, what would be the best way for us to stay in contact? You can either offer options or leave it open. Should we connect on LinkedIn? Like, would it be cool if I grabbed your email address? Sometimes when you ask someone for their phone number, it can be deemed as a personal or a flirtatious interest, so I'd avoid that. The reason I love LinkedIn is LinkedIn's a professional network. We're going to touch on that soon. LinkedIn's a great place to go because especially if you put out a post about the event or you share something about the event or a speaker puts out something about the event, they like it, you like it, there's a good way to keep that relationship alive. So what would be the best way to stay in contact is a good way to follow up. I should put this one here. I'm going to, whatever the activity is, grab a sandwich, go to the next breakout room, attend this event. Would you like to join? And again, they can say yes or no, right? With this, what would be the best way to contact assumes that they want to be in contact. So if you've got a good relationship, assume it, because someone has to go first, right? Or you can say, would it be appropriate for us to connect on LinkedIn after today? Now, by the time you've got to this point, you then are looping back around to the what did you think about. So, hey, would you like to join and grab a sandwich, Miffy? Yeah, you go have a sandwich. Oh, so what did you think about that last part of the session? What did you think about that activity? Oh, and while they're eating a sandwich, oh, I thought that was good. And you're like, okay, wonderful. Or you go to a session, you sit next to someone for like an hour in silence. It's like you go to the movies. I don't know if you guys still go to the movies. But like you go to the movies with a friend and you sit, you're so excited to see each other, you talk for 10 minutes and you sit in silence for like an hour and a half. And then you leave the movie and the first question that everyone always asks is, what did you think about the movie? What did you think about the ending? What did you think about that character? What did you think about the plot twist? So it's like do stuff, ask people about stuff. Do stuff, ask people about stuff. You're giving them an opportunity to exit the conversation. It's the humility to say, maybe this person's got a lot going on right now. Maybe this person wants to meet other people. Hey, I'm going to go grab a sandwich. Would you like to join? Also, a trick here is if you're at that point, have you ever gotten a conversation with someone and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm in so deep with this person, I can't escape? This is a good point to go for you to kill the conversation. I'm going to grab a sandwich now. I'll see you a little bit later in the event. It like puts the wall up. Now, it's not great for building a relationship, but if you need to get out of jail free card, it's a way to do it. The hardest thing is to show up at an event by yourself. Did anyone show up here by themselves today? Big round of applause for all of you. Like, it's so brave. It's terrifying. I hate it. I had to do it 3 times in Vegas. It's terrifying. But when you show up by yourself, you're sort of forced to speak to people. It's kind of awesome because you can sit in silence by yourself, which sucks for ages, or if you do it every event, or at some point you're going to speak to people. And now we know exactly how to do that. If you show up with someone, it's easier, but there's a real trap there. What's the trap with showing up at an event with one other person? You only talk to them. So I would make a rule with them when you go to the event, especially if you've both been here. All right, we're going to divide and conquer. Right? Do the alphabet. All right, we're going to keep meeting people till we meet someone whose name starts with F. And you just go around the room. You're like, does anyone start with F in the room? Okay, we'd be screwed in this room, right? But you get the point, right? We're going to meet 3 people, then we're going to come back. Or divide the event up. Hey, let's hang out at the networking event while it's whatever, but then let's sit separately, or vice versa. Like, create that space if you want to. 4 ways to build those relationships. Hey, you know what we've got in common? We're both first years. I'm doing design, but you're doing finance. What's it like being a first year? What's the best thing you found at Swinburne this year? Hey, you're a 7th year. I like that. I'm a 7th year. I'm a final year. It's like, I'm curious. How did you do that, right? Like, I'm a final year. I'm a final year. Hey, you're a final year. What do you think about networking? How are your jobs going? Even if you're in different areas. So the reason we put year and degree in there is I just say connect with everyone. It's good practice, but also then you can find something to have a conversation about. If nothing else, you're both at Swinburne. You've both been at this event. That's peers. If you make a habit of going to an event, when you meet someone, you finish the conversation, hey, can we connect on LinkedIn? At least you've solidified that relationship. You've got that moving forward. If you want to expand that out to the room in an event like this, highly encourage it. That's the first P. Can I give you 3 more Ps quickly? First P is peers. Second P are professionals. Hey, here are all the people who organised today. Like, I would 100% be connecting with all 4 of those people on LinkedIn. Because do you think the people who organise events for employers and for student life, aka make you happy at uni, make you happy after uni, do you think those people might know some interesting people? Yeah. Yes. So why would you not connect with them? Now, if you connect, are they completely fine to say no? Yeah. Is that within their rights? Yeah, it's not Facebook. You're not asking to be friends. It's not Tinder, LinkedIn. You're not asking for a date. That's important. But it's a professional platform where you request to connect. Now, you've come to an event and they've brought me in and I've asked you to do this. You don't have to do this. I know statistically there's 2 groups of people in the room. Some will and some won't. I don't know who's in what group, but I know you're both here, and that's fine. But I'd highly, highly recommend it. So whenever you're at an event and you see this slide at the start, because everyone wants their name up, everyone has their name up there somewhere, grab a photo, add them on LinkedIn. It's also a really helpful thing to do if you do a little LinkedIn post about today to tag the different people who hosted the day. Everyone loves to get a little thank you. Again, I'm going to share this all with you at the end. So if you're ever at an event, so here, think uni staff. Now I'm going to show you why this really matters. Do you know if you're connected with Jo, you can actually search her connections? If you go to Jo's page and you click on her connections here, it's really subtle, that little button. If you click on her connections, you can search it for keyword. So you could type in mechatronic, or mechatronic maybe. Jo's connected with 4 different people in that space. So you might go, study group leader, tutor, second year, mechatronics, student ambassador. That sounds like an interesting person. Hey, Jo, any chance you'd be open to introducing me to Mingzong? Thanks for putting on that event so much. I saw you connected. I'd love to build some connections with some other people interested in robotics. Is there any chance you'd feel comfortable introducing me to Luna? And Jo can do one of 3 things. She can not see it and not respond, in which case you're exactly where you are right now, dressed fantastically, I might add. Secondly, she can go no. Right, for whatever reason. No, I don't feel comfortable doing it. I don't think it's appropriate. I don't know that person, whatever. You're exactly where you are right now. Or the third option is she can say yes. You might be one introduction away from someone who's your colleague or who might hire you or might get an internship and introduce you as well. So whenever you connect with staff, you're 1 degree away from their connections. Now, I wouldn't request you just bomb people with requests for introductions. What I'd recommend you do is you come to the event and you put whatever the event is teaching you about or talking about into practice for 30 days. And then reach back out 2 to 4 weeks later and say, hey, Jo, thank you so much for putting on that event. I just want to let you know, like, I've been to 3 networking events since, and again, state the facts, tell the truth, and it's really helped me. Or I'm still struggling with it a little bit, but I'm getting there. And that shows someone that you actually follow up on the thing you're learning. And then you go, okay, is there any chance you'd feel comfortable, I've gone through your work and I've noticed you're connected with Mingzong, is there any chance you'd feel comfortable introducing me? Show up, show the work, then make a request. Where people screw this up is they message Jo straight after the event and they go, hey Jo, thanks for the event, here's my resume, can you help me find a job? My rule is I will not do your homework, but I will help you. Third P in the process is presenters. Now, it's hard to do this without it sounding self-serving, but anyone who stands up in front of you and puts their QR code in the screen to connect with them on LinkedIn, or puts their name up and says, hey guys, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, I would highly recommend you do it. If you're like, I would not like to connect with you, Josh, I'm like, that is cool with me, no dramas. But moving forward, if you go to this event tonight, I'd connect with whoever the speakers are or the panelists are. Quick hack, if you go to an event, add the person who's speaking before the event. Because after the event, there'll be X number of connection requests, 19 people. It's very hard for me to write back to 19 well-meaning messages, right? But before the event, not a single student said, hey Josh, I registered for this event. Really excited to see you and learn about networking. Because I would write back to that. Make sense? Last group, past students. Has anyone ever gone on LinkedIn to the Swinburne University LinkedIn page and clicked on the alumni button? You can type in and search by keyword 157,000 students and alumni. So if you were thinking, oh, I wonder who hires mechatronics students, some of these organizations, or hey, I'd like to build those relationships, here they are. Now, I wouldn't recommend you just go connect, 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 but if you go to their page, you can write a personalized message. If I'm you, I'm reaching out to Steve and I'm writing 3 sentences. Can I give you guys like the 3 magic sentences for online? Talk about them. Talk about you and them, talk about you. So the first sentence is all about him. You can write this in your own way. Second sentence is about you and him. The third is a call to action or a request, and it's about you. A mentor of mine said, if you want a job, ask for advice. If you want advice, ask for a job. You don't say, hey Steve, here's my resume. Want to hire me? Because he'll say, no, right? So that little framework, 3 sentences, by the way, you can copy and paste that. And then once you've got a version of that, you don't just have to send it to one person, you can send it to a whole bunch of people. It doesn't hurt to ask them if you can ask them about themselves. What's going to happen is if over the next week, 2 weeks, month, you're connecting with people, you're sharing, something pops up in your newsfeed that they went to an event, you comment on it, oh, that's really cool, what did you learn? Show a little bit of interest. And if you see an opportunity to have a conversation professionally, open up the door. Hey, you went to that networking event with Josh. I saw you just posted about that event that Olivia mentioned. How was it? What did you learn from it? Was it worth going to? Oh yeah, it was really great. I'm going to this event next month. Oh cool, I'm going to go to that too. And you keep that conversation going.